Hello and welcome coders to the Sky Coding. So in today's session we will discuss about data sharing. In the previous session we have covered all of the concepts of the data sharing to the Snowflake as well as non-Snowflake users, and we have covered a lots of concepts of data sharing. Okay, if you haven't seen my previous session video, then the link is given in the description box. Please watch that video before watching the practical of the data sharing. Okay, so this is basically the part 2 video of the data sharing, and here in this session we will discuss all about the practicals, and we will do lots of practicals of the data sharing, and we will see how to share the data to the Snowflake users and to the non-Snowflake users as well. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay, so first of all we will do the data sharing to the Snowflake users who is having the Snowflake account already, and after that we will see that how can we share the data to the non-Snowflake users as well. Okay, so first of all, let me summarize these things. In the Snowflake we can share the data to the Snowflake users as well as the non-Snowflake users as well. Okay, so if you want to share the data to the non-Snowflake users, then you have to first of all create a readers account. Okay, and after creating the reader account, you have to just give the login ID and the password to the user who wants to see the data. Okay, so you can do the sharing to the any of the data to the Snowflake user, to the non-Snowflake user as well. Okay, so there are basically these data share properties. First is grant usage. Suppose that you want to grant the permission to any share to use the database, then we have to use this grant usage for database and schema. And if you want to permit any share to use the table, then you have to give this grant select. Okay, we will discuss this thing when we will do practical. Okay, then you will better understand this thing. Okay, so now first of all let me create a separate database, then we will just share that database only to the other Snowflake user. Okay, so this is basically the syntax for creating a database. Let me execute this and create a database. Okay, so now you can see my database is shared db is now successfully created, and let me refresh. So this is my database. I have created a separate database, and I will share this database with the other Snowflake user. Okay, because these are the databases Sky which is having lots of tables and all this my important data. So we will just share this data, share db. Okay, and now let me create a one table here as well. Okay, before creating a table, let me create a schema. Okay, create a schema. So we will just create another schema. Create a schema, and the schema name will be sky. Okay, create or replace. Let me type create or replace schema and sky is the my schema name, and let me give here my database name as well. Database name is share db dot schema name is this guy. Okay, so let me execute this. Now you will see here there will be one schema. So here is this sky schema, and let me create a table. This is basically a simple table, customer csv share. Let me type here only customer underscore csv. Okay, then you will better understand this thing. Okay, we have used this table in my previous videos as well. So metadata is ready, and now let me execute this. Or so now my table is now created. You can see this is my database which I have created, and I will share this database only, and this is my table customer underscore csv. We will just load the data to this table only. Okay, and we will share, and we will see that if we are getting the data to other Snowflake user or not. Okay, so basically now we will just load the data into this table. Okay, for loading, this is basically the file format which I have created. Let me execute this. So my file format is also now created, and now we will just load the data into this table by external stage. For the external stage we are just using the AWS S3. Okay, and if you don't know about the external stages, how to load the data from the external stage AWS S3, then I have created the video on that. You can watch those videos. Data loading from external stages, internal stages, table stage, user stage, named stage, and all this. Okay, the link will be given of all the sessions videos in the description. You can watch those videos. Okay, according to your need. Okay, so basically this is my AWS S3 bucket, and let me just refresh this once. Okay, I think we have to just log out. Okay, it is telling that please sign in again. Okay, my session is expired. Okay, so let me first of all sign out and sign in again here. Okay, because I have logged into this yesterday. Okay, and we haven't signed out. Okay, and we haven't closed my system also from yesterday. Okay, so let me log in back again to the AWS S3 bucket, and after that we will just load the data from the external stage using AWS S3. Okay, so let me type the password. of my AWS S3. So it is just doing the sign in. And if you don't know how to create a AWS S3 AWS free trial account, then I have created a session video on this as well. You can watch that video, and I have told you that how to create a Snowflake and AWS S3 free trial account. Okay, and how to configure those things as well. Okay, there is a one video for configuration as well. Okay, you can watch those videos from there. Okay. So let me just open this S3 bucket, and after that let me show you the file. Okay, we will just load this file. Okay, there is the one folder, pipes folder, and we will just load that file. Okay, I think internet is very slow, that's why it is taking lots of time. Okay, so let me open my bucket, and after opening my bucket, it is my pipes folder, and in this pipes folder we are having this file custom_1.csv, custom_2.csv. okay, so we will just load these files into our table. Okay, so for loading, this is my storage integration which I have created in my previous video. So we are just using that storage integration. Okay, and if you don't know about storage integration configuration of AWS S3 bucket with the Snowflake, then there is a link in the description. You can watch that video for integration of your Snowflake account with the AWS. Okay, so let me first of all create a stage, and this is my URL of that folder. You can see here, let me show you that thing as well. Okay, so let's move to the properties, and you can see this is my S3 URL. Okay, so now let me first of all create a stage. Okay, so let me execute this once. Okay, so now my stage area is successfully created, and now let me list, and let's see if we are getting the files in this Snowflake console or not. Okay, so you can see we got 6 rows, 6 files, and this is custom_1.csv, and here also this is a custom_1.csv, this one. So we will just load this file into our table. Okay, so this is basically the syntax: copy into custom_csv. This is my table name from this stage, and we are just using this file format. You can create a separate file format, or you can use giving the properties here only. Okay, and we are just loading this custom_1.csv file. Okay, so let me execute this, and now it will load all the files. Okay, it will first parse, and it will just load these data into our this table. Okay, so you can see rows passed 100 and 100 rows are loaded. Let me execute this table, select query, and let me see the data, if we are getting the data or not. Okay, so you can see we have 100 rows loaded successfully in our table. Okay, so now you can see we have 0 rows here, and whenever we will just refresh this, then you will see here custom_csv. this is my table, and we have 100 rows here, and size is 12.0 KB. Okay, so we have now successfully loaded the data into our Snowflake table, and this is basically the very basic thing. We have covered all this loading part in our previous video. You can watch that video for better understanding of the loading from internal and external stages. Okay, so that's all we have to do. We have created this separate database and separate schema, sky schema, and we have created this separate table, and we will now create a share, and we will share this. Okay, so for sharing, we have to just first of all create a share. Okay, so first of all let me write here comment. Okay, these are the things which you need to do in this senders account, which I am going to do now. Okay, do these things in the providers account. Suppose that I am just sharing this database to any other Snowflake user, so what things I have to do? I have to do these things. Okay, so that's why I am writing the comment here, do these things in a providers account who wants to share the data. Okay, so for first of all, you have to create a share. Okay, so for creating a share, you have to just use this syntax, create or replace. It is a very basic syntax, create or replace share, and let me type the name of the share as let me type the name as sky coding share, sky coding underscore share. Okay, so this is basically my share name, sky coding share. Okay, so after that you have to just execute this, it will create a share. Okay, so you can see sky coding share is successfully created. Okay, and if you want to see the share, so you can just give show shares, all the shares which are available to us. Okay, so you can see here, these are all the shares which are available to us, and you can see this is customer share, and this is outbound means we are just sharing this data to other. Okay, so you can see this is a thing, and this is my account, and this is sky coding underscore share, and owner is account admin. Okay, so you can list the share. Okay, let me type here list a share by this command. Okay, so now my share is ready. Now we are good to go to just grant the permission that to this share. We will just grant the permission to this share to just share the database schema or the table. Okay, so for granting permission to use the database, okay, let me type here comment base. Okay, we will just give the permission to this share sky coding share to use the database, this database. Okay, so what we will do, we will just write here grant. After typing the grant, as we want to give the permission to this here to use this database. For database we use usage grant, usage, let me write the correct spelling, grant usage on database, and after that you have to give the database name. My database name is share db, which I have recently created. Okay, share db, and after that you have to type to share, and to share which share I want to share. Okay, so I want the permission to this sky coding share which I have created. Okay, so for that you have to just give here a grant usage on database share db to share this sky coding share. Okay, we are just giving the permission to this share to share this database share db. Okay, so if you want to give the permission for database, so we have to just type here grant usage. Okay, and let me execute this. Okay, so you can see statement is now successfully executed. Now this share is having the permission to share this database. Okay, and suppose that you want to grant permission to schema so that the share can use for schema as well. Let me show you how to do for the schema. So let me copy and paste. Now we are granting permission to share to use schema. Okay, so is for schema you have to just type here grant usage on schema, and my schema name is sky. I want to grant permission to share to use this sky schema. Okay, so for that you have to type like this. Okay, for schema, and let me execute this. Okay, so now my schema, now my share is having permission to access this sky schema as well. Okay, and suppose that you want to grant a permission to this share to use a table, so you have to just copy this, and let me show you for table as well. Okay, so granting permission to share to use a table, and for table you have to write here select. Okay, so let me copy this, and let me give some space, and here you have to write grant select on table to share this sky coding share. Okay, so we are just granting the permission for table, grant select on table, and table name is customer underscore csv. Okay, after that you have to give the table name, and let me remove this space as well. Okay, so you have to just remove this space, and this is for suppose that you want to grant a permission for table as well to, so that your share can use that table. Okay, so let me execute. So you can see my statement is now executed. Now my sky coding share is having a permission to use this table as well. Okay, and suppose that if you want to grant the permission for the complete schema, then you can do that as well. Okay, so let me type here comment grant permission to use complete schema to the share. Okay, so that our share can use a full uh, schema. Okay, so for that you have to type grant select on all tables. Okay, like that, grant select on all tables in schema. Okay, so my schema name is sky here, so we will give just sky to share, and after that we will copy paste the share name. Okay, so by this way you can grant a permission to your share to use all the schema, and all the tables which are present in this schema will be just shared. Okay, and you can give here a database name dot schema name as well. Okay, so it is now executed. You can see now my share is having a permission to use this schema and all the tables as well. Okay, and let me show you for the database as well. Okay, how to share complete database. Okay, so for database grant permission to use a complete database, you have to type just here grant select on all tables in database, and after that database name. So my database name is share db, so we will just give the database name and we will execute. Okay, so my sky coding share is having a permission to use complete database as well. Okay, so we have just given these permissions. Okay, first of all we have created a share, and we have given the usage for database, usage for date schema, and select on table we have permission for a table, and how to do this complete schema and complete database. Okay, so we have discussed all those things. Okay, so that you can understand. Okay, So let me type here one thing, that how to you can show the comments, so the grants, okay, so that how many of permissions your share is having, okay, because this is very important, okay. So say so grants to share, okay. So here we will just type so grants to share and share name, okay. So by this way you can check that what are the permissions your share is having, okay. So you can see here usage for the database, it is having database schema and select for table, okay. And you can see the name here as well, okay, share.db, this is the database, is it can be shared, and this table is sharing, okay. And you can see guarantee name and the account name granted by my admin, okay. I am just admin and I am just granting this permission to share this database schema and table, okay. So by this way you can just check your list the grants, so that what are the permissions, okay. And now we will just give the account name. Now we have just all the permissions, and now we will just give the account name for the consumer, or you can say it is a receiver, okay. So for giving the account name, just alter share, and after that you have to type the share name, and after that add account equals to account name, okay. So alter share sky coding and add account equals to account name. I am just sharing my this share to this cj08185, this is my another account, and you can get your account name from here. This is your account name and this is your location name, okay. So if you don't know how to get the account name, so you can get the account name from the url only, okay. So after that you have to just execute this, and let me type here it is a consumer account, okay, because we are doing the data sharing to the snowflake user only, okay. So we will just do execution of this, okay. So you can see statement executed successfully. Now I have completely shared this database and all these things to this account cj08185, okay. And let me write this now my this account is having the permission, okay. We can see these things in the receiver's account, in the consumer's account, okay. So now my one side integration is done, one side sharing is done, okay. One side means this, as I am a provider and I am sharing the data to the consumer, okay. So now my one side is done, and it is having a permission to use my database schema and the table as well, okay. And now you have to do one thing in the receiver account as well, because a receiver must be having something, okay. So let me type here things to do in consumer account, okay. So now my one side is done. Now we have to log into the receiver account, and we have to just see this share in the receiver account, and let's see that it is having there or not, okay. So this is about the sender's account, what are the permissions we have given, and how what share we have created, and this is we need to do for the consumer account as well, okay. Now my one side integration is only done, okay. Now we are left with receiver account, okay. We have to list the share in the receiver account, and we will do that thing in the receiver account, okay. So now first of all let me do the login, and you can see from here as well, okay. Let me show you, okay. So you can see shares, okay. Inbound is means whatever share you are getting from another accounts, okay. And outbound means whatever you are sharing, okay. You can see this is my consumer account name, okay. Inbound and outbound. Inbound means whatever another person is sharing to you, means you are acting as a consumer, and for outbound whatever you are sharing to others, means you are acting as a provider in the outbound, okay. So that's all about inbound and outbound, and let me just quickly log into my consumer account, okay. And guys, you can see I have successfully logged into my consumer account, okay. You can see this is account name cj08185 and app southeast 1, okay. This is the location, okay. And this is a mine account, okay. And let me close this, and this is my account, this is my provider account, okay. And I have given this name here cj08185, so that this account can use this database and schema and tables, okay. You can see this is my account 712 account admin, okay. And this is my colleague account and his name is Pranav, okay. You can see here name as well, okay. This is my colleague account, so I have shared my data, this database share db, and I have provided all the permissions also to this account, and I have logged into my another account, okay. You can see this is my colleague account cj08185, okay. So now what are the things you have to do here in this account? Let me type the comment here as well. Things to do in a consumer account. Okay, this is a consumer. Okay, let me write the name here as well. Okay, then you will understand. Okay, so let me write here Pranav. Okay, so Pranav is a consumer here. Okay, I am just it let me write here consumer as well. Okay, consumer. Okay, so Pranav, it is a consumer here, and my name is here, it is written, my account name is Shivam12. So Shivam12 is a provider, and this Pranav is a consumer. Okay, and I have done all the permissions and all these things here, given account name, and now we will just do here. Okay, so how can you just see what are the shares in inbound shares in your account? Okay, because I have described for inbound and outbound also. Inbound is whatever share you are getting from other accounts, means you are acting as a consumer in this way, and outbound is whatever share you are sharing. Okay, so you can check from here as well, web UI shares, and you can see this is an inbound share, and this is, you can see, secure share name is sky coding share. Okay, sky coding share, this I have given. Okay, and you can see here account name as well. Okay, you can see the time here, time as well. Okay, you can see all these things from here. Okay, and this is my account name, and you can see here I have given the a name, my share name is sky coding share. Okay, and this is my account, and you can see here sky coding share, this is Pranav account, and you can see he is getting this inbound, and you can see it is showing here sky coding underscore share, and outbound also you can see he is just sharing this customer underscore share to some other user. Okay, and this we are getting here in the inbound. Okay, and you can just create from here as well. You can have to just simply click here, and you have to just simply click here create database, and you can give here any database name, and you can select here any role, and you have to just create a database. Okay, but we will just do first of all from the query part. Okay, so for query part, let me first of all do show shares. Okay, after semicolon, and let me execute this. Okay, so it is taking some time, let's wait. So it will show all the shares for inbound and outbound, then we will understand that what are inbound and okay, what it is showing due to network connectivity issue. Okay, so we execute this again. Okay, then it will just show all the shares. Okay, so you can see we got 4 rows, and now we are just seeing the inbound, because we want to see that whatever share another person is sharing to me, means inbound means you are acting as a consumer. Okay, so you can see we got this here JIX, and this is sky coding share. Okay, this is a share which I have created, which I want to see. Okay, so you can see we are getting this. Okay, I am just doing all these things in the consumer account. Okay, you have to note this down. I am doing all these things in the consumer account, means in a Pranav account. In my case, Pranav is a consumer and Shivam12 is a provider. Okay, so I am doing in the consumer account. Okay, so what we have to do now, we can describe this thing as well. Okay, you can describe the share. Okay, now we have to just create a database, create or replace. You have to just create a database by this share. Okay, create or replace database, and after database you have to type any database name. Okay, so let me type here sky coding underscore share. Okay, not share, this will be the same, sky coding db share. Okay, let me type this sky coding db share. Okay, this by this name one database will be created here in this consumer account, and it will get all the data of that share. Okay, so after that you have to type here from share, we are creating this database by this share, from share, and after that you have to give the account name. Okay, so my account name means for the provider account name you have to give here. So provider account name is jp02361. Let me copy this. Okay, so you have to just copy the provider account name, and after that you have to type the share name. Okay, so my share name which I have created in my account is this sky coding underscore shares. So we will just give this here. You can see here as well sky coding share. Okay, after that you have to just give the semicolon. Okay, so let me summarize these things. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to just create a one database from this share, whatever share you are getting in the inbound from any of the provider account. Okay, and here you have to give the provider account name who is providing you the data. So you are just using this account and this share to create a database in your. Okay, so let me execute this, and you will get all those things. Okay, so let me execute this. Now you can see database sky coding db share is successfully created, and now what we will do, okay guys, you can see here I got this sky coding db share, and you can see owner here and origin also here. Okay, and you can see database sky coding db share, it is coming from the share. Okay, and you can see here we got this sky schema as well. Okay, and you can see we got this customer underscore csv table as well. Okay, so let me verify the data as well. Select asterisk from, and my table name is customer underscore csv, and let me execute this. Okay, okay, let me give the database name and dot schema name as well. Okay, so my database name is sky coding underscore db underscore share, and schema name is sky dot table name. Okay, so now you will get here 100 rows. Okay, so you can see this is 100 rows here, and let me move to the provider account and let me show you. This is customer underscore csv table, and let me show you the data for this table. Okay, here select asterisk from customer underscore csv. Okay, and let me execute this. Okay, we have to give the database name and schema name as share db dot sky dot table name. Okay, so let me execute, and you can see we got 100 rows, and you can see the for the row id 2 and first name is Malaysia, and here also you can see row id 2 first name is Malaysia, and we have 100 rows here got in the provider account, in the Pranav account. Okay, you can see here. Okay, and this is my provider account. Okay, so what are the things we have to do? We have to just show the share and just create a database from that share, and you will get your data whatever that share is having. Okay, so by this way you can share the data to the Snowflake users. Okay. And let me show you one thing as well. Okay, suppose that I have shared this table to let me move to the provider account. So this is my account, provider account, you can see here. Okay, so I have just shared this table, share db sky.customer.csv table to this consumer means Pranav. Okay, and now this is having just 100 rows. Okay, and now let me load 100 rows or more to this table, and let me check that whether these after loading 100 rows more, then this table will be having 200 rows. Okay, and let me check and verify that whether this 100 rows is reflecting into the consumer account or not. Okay, so now first of all let me load 100 more rows to this table in the provider account. Okay, so let me execute this once again. Okay, and now you will see 100 rows will be loaded. Okay, so you can see 100 rows loaded, and let me execute this. So you can see here we got 200 rows here, and let me refresh this one, and you can see this is the table is share db database which I have shared, and this is the table which I have shared, customer underscore csv, and we successfully got 200 rows loaded. Okay, so earlier we are having just 100 rows, and now we got 200 rows. Okay, we have successfully 100 rows loaded again. Okay, so now let's verify in the consumer account, in the Pranav account, that whether these 100 rows are reflecting or not. Okay, so now let me refresh this once, database of the consumer account, and you can see this is my database, and you can see this is the customer underscore csv, and we got 200 rows here. Okay, you can see we got 200 rows here. So let me execute this once again and let me verify. Okay, so you can see we got 200 rows in our consumer account as well. So means it, you can say maintaining the link between the consumer and provider accounts database. Okay, whether we are doing any of the changes here in the provider account, that changes of this shared table or shared database is just reflecting into the consumer's account as well. Okay, so these are the things which I wanted to tell you, that what are the things which you need to do in the consumer account, and how to see the data which is being shared by the share. Okay, and this is the very most important thing, that whenever you will do the share, and after doing the share, whenever you will do any changes in the table or load any data into the table, then that data will also be reflected into the consumers. Okay, so that's all about the sharing to the Snowflake user. How can you share? Okay, so let me copy this thing in our provider account, things to do in the consumer account. Okay, so these are the things which you have to do in the consumer account. Okay, so first of all you have to create a share, grant permissions to database, schema and table. After that you have to give the account name here by altering the share, and after that you have to log into the consumer account, and you have to just create the database from that share, and by this way you can just get the data and your data will be shared, and you will just get the link also. Whenever you will do any changes in the provider account in that shared database or table, then that shared database table and that thing will also be reflected in the consumer account. Okay, in this account, this is a consumer account. Okay, you can see this is my consumer account. Okay, so that's all about the data sharing to the Snowflake user. Okay, and in the next video we will discuss about that how can you share the data to the non Snowflake user, means which is not having any of the account. Okay, suppose that I want to share any data to my this colleague, his name is Pranav. Okay, and suppose that he is Pranav and he is suppose that not having any of the Snowflake account. Okay, and I want to share some data with him. So how can we share? Okay, so we can just create a reader account and we will give my reader account login and password to the Pranav and he will just log in. Okay, so that's all we will do in the next session in the practical, that how to share data to the non Snowflake users. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Meet you soon in the next very interesting tutorial of data sharing to the non Snowflake users. Okay, and if you have any type of doubt, then you can ask me on the Instagram or you can just use the comment section. Okay, so that's all.